Dillian, the body snatcher right here. It's a champ. Big up to Sporting Icon. Subscribe. Otherwise, I might pay you guys a visit.
Now, ever since Oleksandr Usyk defeated Anthony Joshua this past weekend, the heavyweight landscape, as far as the Undisputed route is concerned, has of course shifted quite dramatically. But there are some bonuses to this one, which of course I'll talk about. Now, there are 3 key fights for the road to Undisputed, and there are also some additional storylines that may interfere with the Undisputed. So I want to cover all of that as this video goes along. So if you are new here, firstly, congratulations, you found us, well done. Click that subscribe button. Now, the rematch between Usyk and Joshua is looking to be happening in February or March. No idea why it's going to be taking so long. No idea whatsoever. I'm sure there's a reason for it, which is kind of frightening, which means Christmas is a little bit closer than I initially thought. Anyway, I'm sure that fight will soon be here. So there's that one. The other 2 fights are Fury Wilder Part 3 and Dillian Whyte versus Otto Wallin. They're the other 2 fights that's instrumental for the road to Undisputed. Now, the other storylines I'm going to touch on in a second. So I'm going to go through those 3 particular fights. So Usyk Joshua, where that's going to be, who knows? Maybe it's going to be in Ukraine. Maybe it's going to be in the UK. Maybe it's going to be in Saudi. Who knows? Who really cares? Okay, let's get this rematch done. And I firmly believe that Anthony Joshua will get the job done. One way or another, he'll get it done. He'll solve the matrix. Okay, he'll solve the jigsaw puzzle of Oleksandr Usyk and get the win. Okay, but if he doesn't, and who knows, maybe Usyk is going to beat Joshua even more convincingly next time. Who knows, okay? But I honestly do believe Joshua is going to get revenge. Many of you will disagree with that, of course. Now, so there's that one. The other 2, Fury and Wilder. Now, Fury vs. Wilder Part 3, okay, it's not really an exciting fight. We've seen the fight twice already, okay? But it's instrumental for the road to Undisputed in the sense of, because the WBC belt is, of course, on the line. Of course, you've got the additional Ring Magazine, but of course, you don't need the Ring Magazine to become Undisputed. And I say that, unfortunately, I think that you should. But in that fight, I truly believe that Tyson Fury, as long as he's focused and motivated for this fight, will put an absolute beatdown on Deontay Wilder. He'll do a better job on him in his 3rd fight than what he'd done in the rematch. Which is saying a lot, really, isn't it? I mean, that was pretty much a perfect performance from Tyson Fury. As much as he annoys me with the whole Undisputed situation, of course, I've done interviews with Bob Arum during that whole process. Yes, I do feel aggrieved by it. I feel like I've just been personally lied to when the Fury Wilder Part 3 was probably always going to be on. We've all been hoodwinked. Even John Fury said it. Hey, that's my own feelings. Maybe you feel the same. Maybe you don't. But the 3rd fight is still important because it is still the road to Undisputed, because the WBC belt's on the line. And as I said, I think Tyson Fury is going to put that guy into retirement. I honestly do. But you never know. Heavyweight division. Maybe Fury will switch off as he normally does. And in that moment, Wilder lands that big right hand, Tyson Fury goes down and does not get back up again. Or maybe this fight goes to the points and Fury gets robbed. You never know. But I do believe Fury is going to defeat Deontay Wilder. The other key fight, Dillian Whyte versus Otto Wallin. Of course, that's going to be for the WBC Interim World Heavyweight Championship. Also, the WBC will call it for the mandatory. Okay, so the winner of Fury Wilder will have to fight the winner of Dillian Whyte versus Otto Wallin. At long last. Okay, and I said this a while ago, that should Usyk defeat Joshua, the road to Undisputed is going to be postponed for a little while. Then the WBC will finally do the right thing and call up Dillian Whyte to be the mandatory to get his world title shot. But Dillian Whyte's going to have to do a job on Otto Wallin. No easy task. I think a lot of people will agree with me that Otto Wallin seems a whole lot better than what people initially thought when Tyson Fury first fought him. Okay? Meaning, not too many people were too happy about Fury fighting Otto Wallin. For me, I wasn't one of those. My videos are there on it, where I said, well, Otto Wallin, he's ranked in the top 15. He's an undefeated fighter. Prove your position in the rankings. Prove it. If not, then lose it. Okay, and the fight turned out to be pretty good. Wallin put in a very good performance. Since then, of course, he has had 2 fights. One with Travis Kaufman, that is what it is. And of course, the other one with Dominic Brazil. Now he's going to be fighting Dillian Whyte. And this will be the first, I believe it's the first time Dillian Whyte has fought a southpaw fighter. In fact, when I asked Dillian before, have you ever fought a southpaw fighter, when we talk about Wallin or a Luis Ortiz or a Charles Martin that before, he said, actually, you know what, I don't think I've ever actually fought a southpaw fighter. So either way, I believe that Dillian Whyte, over the first couple of rounds, he'll try and figure out Otto Wallin. Then at some point, he'll land a huge shot and stop Otto Wallin. That's what I truly believe will happen. But to be honest with you, I don't really care as long as Dillian Whyte gets to win. I don't care if it's ugly and boring, as long as Dillian Whyte gets to win. That will then lead us into Fury, based on my predictions, Fury versus Dillian Whyte. That will happen either in December or January. Now, should Dillian Whyte get past Otto Wallin, I'm telling you, I will call up Dillian Whyte and I'll say to him, do not accept any kind of terms or offers from Queensberry and Bob Arum. Do not accept them. Take this fight to purse bid. And hopefully Eddie Hearn will dig deep, win the purse bid, take that fight. Dillian Whyte will then put on that fight wherever it is that he wants to be put it on. For me, I think that if Frank Warren and that is owning that fight, they're going to do Dillian Whyte dirty. That's what I honestly feel will happen. So I will be advising Dillian Whyte, take it to purse bid. Anyway, no matter what, the most important thing is they fight. What platform? I don't really care what platform, to be honest with you, but as long as these guys fight, Dillian finally gets his world title opportunity. What's going to happen between Fury and Whyte? Dillian Whyte will knock out Tyson Fury in the first round. I can hear the Tyson Fury fans crying a little bit right now. Of course, I'm joking, okay? I'm trolling with you. Very, very easy. Dillian Whyte will stop him round 2 or round 3. Now, then, obviously, the winner of Fury Whyte will then fight my other prediction of Anthony Joshua for Undisputed, okay? Now, the other additional storylines will be the mandatories. Now, Joyce, of course, he's the WBO mandatory, but the WBO mandatory for the heavyweight division has only just been completed. Oleksandr Usyk. So Joyce is going to have to go to the back of the queue because there's unified belts, meaning that the WBA is next. Then the IBF, then Joyce and the WBO. Frank Warren and Sam Jones, I don't think they've really sat down with Joyce and really explained it to him. Because I've seen posts from both of them saying, Joyce next versus Oleksandr Usyk. I think they're hoodwinking him, to be honest with you. I don't think Joyce is necessarily clued up with the state of the heavyweight division right now. Anyway, the WBA one will be next. Currently, there is no mandatory for the WBA. Okay? So what I believe will happen is they will make Daniel Dubois the mandatory for the WBA. Reason being, I know Frank Warren is talking about him versus Trevor Bryan for the regular WBA belt, which of course will be interesting. Frank Warren and Don King, of course, we all know about their history. That'll be interesting to see them two together again. But we all know that Manuel Charr has a legal case against the WBA, Don King, and Trevor Bryan. So I don't believe Daniel Dubois will get the Trevor Bryan fight. I mean, he may, you never know. Maybe they're going to work out a deal with Manuel Charr. So I believe that Daniel Dubois will become the mandatory. But because that's called, he won't get to fight the winner of the winner of Joshua Usyk so quickly. He will then get that shot after the Undisputed. The next one in line will be the IBF. That will be Filip Hrgovic versus whomever it is finds their nuts to sign on the dotted line to fight Filip Hrgovic. Filip Hrgovic has been ordered to fight in the final eliminator, and him and his team, i.e. Kalle Sauerland, Team Wasserman, will be going through the top 15 of the IBF. And apparently they've gone right the way through the IBF rankings. People like Charles Martin, people like Andy Ruiz Jr., people like Luis Ortiz, previously, of course, more famously, Michael Hunter. The list goes on. They've all turned down Filip Hrgovic to the point where they're now looking at number 15 in the rankings. Personally, I think everybody who turned down that fight should be kicked out of the IBF rankings. That's my own position on that one. But looks like he could well be fighting number 15, Martin Bakole, even though initially Billy Nelson talking a lot about how Martin Bakole will fight anyone, turned down the fight. Okay, but apparently now there could be renegotiating. We could see that fight at the end of the year. So Filip Hrgovic versus Martin Bakole for the IBF mandatory, but I don't believe the mandatories will get in the way. Then Joyce, of course, will come after the WBA and the IBF. Unfortunately for Joyce, right? So I don't think that they're going to interfere with the road to Undisputed. I really don't. So just in a nutshell, I believe Joshua will defeat Oleksandr Usyk in the rematch. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Who knows? I think Fury will defeat Wilder. Again, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And I believe that Dillian Whyte will defeat Otto Wallin. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Again, who knows? Maybe we're going to see Fury versus Wallin, the rematch. Do we really want to see that one? Not really. Do we really want to see Otto Wallin bash up Tyson Fury again? No, not really. Again, I'm triggering the Fury fanboys. Too easy. Anyway, that's the landscape of the heavyweight division. So we're pretty much 3 fights away from Undisputed, really. Maybe, who knows? Maybe we could see Otto Wallin versus Oleksandr Usyk for Undisputed. Wilder versus Usyk for Undisputed. Wilder versus Joshua. Whyte versus Joshua. Whyte versus Usyk. Fury versus Usyk. Fury versus Joshua. There's so many different alternatives. But I do believe my predictions will be, in the end, for Undisputed, Joshua will be firmly involved. Okay? Anyway, drop your thoughts below. Click thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you on the next video.